Good afternoon. I'm Mike McCormick, President and founder of PeopleRight, and we're glad you asked to see our case study from a sales director with 29 salespeople on his team that generated a 2,700% return on investment. To begin with, I'm going to show you the process that we use. I started PeopleRight 22 years ago, and we've developed a proven process that works time after time. So I'm going to walk through it briefly and then show you the details. We start out by defining who's going to be in the group and what are the parameters around the study that we are doing. From there, we go to our ultimate benchmarking process, and I'll walk you through what that entails and what that looks like. That allows us to analyze the data to see what the numbers are telling us, what the objective and sometimes subjective information is telling us, and whether or not we can be predictive in predicting results in the future. We compile all those results or summarize all of those results into an executive summary, identify the key numbers or outcomes from the study, and then put it into a return on investment format so that, at the end of the day, if you can't prove that it benefits your business, then why are you doing it? And I come from a technical background. I have an engineering degree and an MBA, so it's not a feel good kind of business that we are in. It's a job match and people performance kind of business, and we want to show you what is working now and how to get more of it. So, moving on into the defining the group. In this case, we started with 29 people on a sales team. The manager had ranked. Actually, there were two sales managers because it was side-by-side sales teams in a very close proximity to each other. So the managers ranked their people top to bottom in their groups, and they also gave us the actual sales history for the prior 12 months for all 29 salespeople. And they wanted us to combine their ranking information, which has some subjectivity to it, and their actual sales results, which is totally objective, and combine those two and rank them 50% each in building the benchmark and ranking results information. So from there, we had all 29 people on this team complete a whole person assessment where we measured, in this case, 20 different characteristics for each of the 29 people. And then we took that information, we combined their whole person assessment results with the ranking information. And we performed regression analysis to identify the top performers and the bottom performers. We didn't guess at it, we calculated it. We used the top performers' assessment results to create a benchmark. Then we used machine learning. In this case, we had enough data where we used machine learning to maximize the benchmark. Now, the short definition of that is we basically ran thousands of iterations of the benchmark, making small tweaks to it to see which changes or tweaks ended up showing the best results. And then once we maximized the benchmark, we compared all of the incumbents against that maximized benchmark. Looking at the data from a top-down perspective, when we looked at the results, the top performers all scored at least an 85% overall job match against this maximized benchmark. And the average score of the top performers was 89%. For the middle performers, the overall job match, the average overall job match for the middle performers was 78%. So that's a difference of 11% in job match from group to group. And the bottom performers, average overall job match was 72%, which is 6 points lower than the middle performers, and it's 17 points lower than the top performers. We then looked at or combined those results with the fact that the top performers closed 22 deals per year, the middle performers closed 14 deals per year, and the bottom performers closed less than 8 per year. When you look at that graphically, the compelling part of this graph is that everything is trending in the right directions. So in the white or on the left of each one of these groupings is the poor performers. Then in the middle are the middle performers who scored higher on overall job match. And then the darker gold is the top performers. And then the next set of bars is their average units sold per year, which you can see are trending in exactly the same direction as their overall job match scores. Because we were able to use a data scientist to help with the analysis, who also conducted the machine learning analysis, we could show at the end of this study which of the 20 traits that we measure were the best predictors of performance. So at the end of the day, they weren't guessing about results for their candidates or their current employees in terms of seeing how they scored and how those scores relate or predict future performance. Summarizing all of that and coming up with the key outcomes, again, top performers sold 8 more units per year than the middle performers. Middle performer and the top sold 14 more units than the bottom performers. The average profit per unit for these sales teams was $30,000. So if they hired in the coming year, if they were to hire one more top performer and avoid hiring a bottom performer, the annual profit increase would be $420,000. The investment for this particular study was $15,000, and that included assessment cost for their next 6 candidates. Looking at that from an ROI perspective, if top performers close 14 more units at $30,000 profit per unit, it's $420,000. Subtract the cost of the study, or $15,000, and then divide that number by the cost of the study, you see that we were able to show a 2,700% ROI for this study. Said another way, for every dollar they invested, if they use this information in future hiring decisions, it would pay them back $27 for each dollar invested. So, what comes next? If you'd like to discuss how to use the best technology to duplicate your top performing employees so that you can reach your sales goals faster, have fewer headaches, spend less time dealing with the poor performers, then please give us a call, schedule a consultation, which there's no charge, and we'll talk about your current situation. We'll discuss a few variables about your team and what kind of information you have to start with, and then we'll craft a proposal for how we could do something similar for your team moving forward. We hope to hear from you soon. Good luck. Talk soon.